Welcome back to McNulty's Book Corral, and I have good news for all of you. I do not have a Dracula costume or a mask. I know you're disappointed, but this babe up here, this Wicked Witch, she stopped by, and I thought, I'd hang her to go with the Dracula poster, because today's episode is the long-awaited Robert Lory Dracula series, and we're going to start right out with this. The Return of Dracula, Dracula Returns. Get it right. I mentioned in a previous episode I interviewed Robert Lory via email quite a number of years back, and in that interview he described for me his process of writing, the enjoyment he had in this series, how he got the contract, and all of those various aspects of his career. He was quite an accomplished science fiction writer too. There are elements of science fiction in here occasionally, too, in this 9-volume series. So, the first one was published, this is Pinnacle Books, and this was 1973. And this is the first printing of that. So, here is how it works. Professor Damian Harmon and his assistant, Cameron Sanchez, introduced the magic of modern technology into the vampire heart of the dreaded Count Dracula. What evil reincarnation have they wrought? What wicked deeds will this demon from the darkest depths of horror perpetuate now? Or is Dracula to become something more hideous than a monstrous shadow of his legendary past? Come, open the coffin with us. Really great blurbs on this. So his writing, so a little bit about the writing of Robert Lory. Robert Lory was one of those writers who was really well versed in the pulps. By pulps, I'm meaning a style of writing. Hard-boiled pulp writing had certain hallmarks to it, such as vivid descriptions, mood, snappy dialogue. Tough guys, men were men, women were women. And the world building was specific to wherever they were. For example, if you're reading a pulp novel about New York, you're going to get a sense of the gritty streets at midnight, the street lamps throwing eerie shadows. Those type of images, wild plot twists, and exaggerated action sequences where the hero is constantly put down and has to keep standing up and moving ahead to survive the attacks that are happening. All of these hallmarks and tropes and ideas are very much a part of the hard-boiled pulp fiction style. And Robert Lory was well versed in that style. I am quite confident that if you read these Dracula books, some of you would tap into this right away. I love them. I think they're great. I have a lot of books about monsters, and I love monsters, okay? I love monsters. I think monsters are more interesting because sometimes they can be sympathetic. So there are times in this series where you're rooting for Dracula. There's a Frankenstein series out there, too, that will be the next episode. And we'll talk about that. But in the meantime, this is number 1 of 9, Dracula Returns. By the way, these books on the aftermarket are very expensive. They are becoming harder and harder to find in any type of reasonable condition. Number 2 was the Hand of Dracula. Hold that up so you can get the scan there, get the scan over here, wherever it's going to be. And this is, I love the blurbs, okay? So in addition to the prose, which is, again, moody and dynamic, the blurbs were great. This is the second volume in the all-new Dracula horror series, original tales of legendary wickedness in modern-day suspense. It gets better as it goes along, too. The Hand of Dracula, I don't know. I just think the prose, it's simplistic, hard-boiled, moody stuff. In a previous episode, I talked about the Italian horror comic books, the eroticism of the damsels in distress who were generally unclad, and the gothic surroundings of that, and how you have the erotic elements are accentuated by the erotic terror, or the gothic terror. I'm sorry, it's erotic terror too. This is a little different. He doesn't go into the erotic aspects of what he could have the way other writers do, even now. It's just pure fun. It goes on and on. Number 3 was Draculas Brothers. And it moves right along with this. I love the covers on these, by the way. So these, not every edition I have is a first edition. This is still the original first edition. Yeah, this is October of 73, first printing for number 3. And then we have number 4, which is Draculas Gold. This is a particular favorite of mine. A spine-tingling treasure hunt through the wolf-haunted tunnels of Dracula Mountain. And so Draculas Gold is this a first edition? This is first printing, November 73. Boy, these were being cranked out. It just moves along at every book has a different type of setting, a different type of plot twist, and Robert Lory was really good at that. He was really good. Read some of his science fiction novels. I'm going to do an episode on Robert Lory's science fiction novels. He even did some ace doubles. He's not as well known for those as he are for these, because this is gold. Sorry, bit of a pun there. Dracula's Gold. Number 5. The Drums of Dracula, the throbbing drums. The throbbing of drums shatters the night as Professor Harmon's niece is kidnapped by devilish voodoo priests. So Dracula has to help him out, because again, Professor Harmon's the one who reincarnated him, brought him back to life, and on and on. So this is first printing March of 74, and it is, I don't know. I just think they're fun. They're entertaining. They're moody. They're sometimes the plot twists are a little exaggerated, but it's Dracula as envisioned and reincarnated by the great Robert Lory. The Witching of Dracula, number 6. The Blood Countess returns, and even Dracula is filled with horror. That would be Elizabeth Bathory, I believe. And here is that cover. Okay, you probably want me to put it in front of my face, so you don't have to look at my ugly mug so much. So this is number 6 again. I have a double of number 6, and no, I'm sorry, I'm not giving it away or selling it. I bought this one in England, and you'll see that it has a different cover. It's the same book, and let's see what the typeset is different too. So this was New English Library in 1977. This is the first edition from May of 77. So a few years later, they got to it. The print, the typeset is much smaller in this. Good cover, again, really creepy stuff. I wish I had the entire British set. Moving along, yeah, a few left. Number 7. This is a good one, too. Dracula's Lost World. So Dracula's quest for gold in an undiscovered, uncivilized land. This was actually one of my favorites, and because Dracula's been looking for gold. He's been reincarnated. He has to do the bidding of Professor Harmon, and this is December of 74. It's just really good, and entertaining, riveting. I'm telling you, folks, this is riveting shit. I shouldn't say that. Some people would call it sleaze or garbage or whatever. To me, it's entertainment. Number 8, Dracula's Disciple. There's a mummy involved here. I love monsters, okay? I just love monsters. Check out the cover of Dracula's Disciple. You see that mummy in the background? Robert Lory wasn't afraid to do that. After 6,000 years in the land of the dead, the heinous Herrick is back for the blood of the earth. Ooh. Listen to this. Okay, this is the 8th volume in the unwholesomely horrific Dracula series. Unwholesomely horrific, okay? Wow. The blurbs get better and better, and the books maintain their consistency in the quality of the mood. Again, if you're looking to be entertained, this is April of 75. 9 volumes of Robert Lory's Dracula series, long out of print. Number 9, the final one. Now, this number 9, I believe, had a low print run. This is really hard to find. And all of these books can be really expensive, but this one's really high. The first one, I think you could get it at a reasonable cost, but some of these others, certainly if you bought the whole group, it would cost you $200, $150, $200 from some vendors, in really good shape. Number 9, though, is really, really tough. Now watch, if I were to go on eBay right now and check it out, it would probably be a dozen. I don't know. This is the 9th volume in the Unwholesomely Horrible, not horrific, Dracula series. They're really funny the way they promoted these. Number 9 comes to us from September of 75, and that is the way it worked out. Really great series. I wish they would reprint these. Maybe they could do an omnibus volume. I don't really know who owns the copyright on these books any longer. I think they were marvelously entertaining. I saved them for a reason. When I saw that extra copy of number 6 in London, I bought it without needing it, but it was an extra copy with a different cover, different typeset. Like I said, I wish I had the complete UK run. When I go back, I'm going back to the UK next year, and we'll see. I don't have high expectations that I would run into it, but it's possible. You never know. That is another episode about monsters. My next episode, we're covering it all here. We're going to cover Frankenstein's monster, but perhaps in a series of books you haven't heard of. Until then, my friends, stay well, stay happy, feed your brain, read a book.